What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fancy Fitness. So here we go guys. The prejudging of the last Olympia qualifier for 2024, the UK Pro or Europa Pro, that is now underway, and only one of these guys will be eligible to make it to the biggest bodybuilding stage in 4 weeks time. First of all, a huge shout out to AJ Kelly for this amazing coverage. Now I for one, and actually most of us thought that this is probably gonna come down between Andre Presti and Patrick Moore. And before we talk about that, I have to say they both brought phenomenal condition tonight. The sheer size of Andre Presti, especially from the back, that is just insane. Even in the back relaxed pose, he kind of dwarfs everyone, especially in the upper half. So both Andre Presti and Patrick Moore were in the same group, in that initial call out. And I have to say the height of Andre Presti, that definitely gives him an edge. But there was another guy in there, who almost everyone counted out, and that is a former Olympian, Mohamed Nassour. So him along with Louis Breed, they're arguably one of the most ripped and conditioned guys out there. So it is the era of vacuums, and the fans should be really thankful, because just a few years ago, we had big guts in bodybuilding, and thankfully this trend has changed. So the reason I'm mentioning that is because the way Mohamed Nassour turned to the side, and then he hit that vacuum, I have to say that was so epic. So insane quad striations, crazy back detail, and that is the reason he made that first call out. So Bruno Santos from Brazil, that guy who just finished third this past weekend in Italy, he looked way harder and way drier, and way more impressive here. Very thick, very dense, so much size, and he is another guy who is rocking that vacuum and then transitioning into crunch abs. So while we were discussing Europa Pro, most of us really underestimated him, and he really is fighting for the title here and also the Olympia qualification. So Louis Breed was one of those guys who looked absolutely mind-blowing leading into the show while he was in prep. And I have to say he looks really grainy, really hot, and he has that granite-like conditioning. Now on the flip side, he doesn't have the aesthetics at all, especially in comparison to the likes of Andre Presti or even Patrick Moore. But he was hard as a rock, and that overall density that Louis Breed had, that is what carried him into that first call out. So Lorenzo, the guy who made a phenomenal pro debut last weekend in Italy, by placing fourth, he is once again absolutely peeled here. He was in such a supreme condition, and it was pretty evident from the first glance, the moment he walked out on that stage. And it was pretty evident that he was gonna be in that first call out. So for a guy who just made his pro debut a week ago, he looks very complete, very polished, and he looks absolutely shredded from every angle. Now let's talk about Patrick Moore. So I don't think he has ever looked this aesthetic than he did tonight. It was an extremely impressive version of Patrick, kinda reminiscent of what we saw at the Olympia back in 2019. He was extremely classic, super tight waistline, very dry and very deep abs, huge arms, coupled with those huge quads. I have to say he really put in the work in this offseason, and it was pretty evident here. But as per the judges, this even improved version of Patrick, even with him being improved in terms of size, that just wasn't enough to make him eligible for that first call out. So from that aspect, disappointment for Patrick, as he was aiming for a win here tonight. So when Andre Presti first came onto the scene for his mandatories, it looked like that this is game over for everyone else. And although that wasn't the case, but I do have to say I have mentioned this over and over again, that he is one of the most underrated IV pros right now. And with the kind of consistency that he has, with which he brings that insane level of conditioning every single time he steps on stage, that is just so damn impressive. And that is what makes him so special. Because if you guys think about it, when was the last time Presti actually came in off for a bodybuilding show? I don't think that ever happened. So I think Presti was just way too good for some of these guys, especially in terms of aesthetics. He is just lights out from the back, especially the kind of width that he has. And his front shots are also crazy impressive, especially the way he opens up when his huge wide lats come into play. That is so impressive. So let's talk about the first call out. Now Presti must have had a heart attack because he was kept to the side the entire time during that 6-man first call out. So we had Presti, Louis Breed, Bruno Santos, Lorenzo, Mohamed Nassour, and Enrico Hoffman. So Bruno Santos and Louis Breed, they were kept in the middle throughout that first call out. But I have to say even then, You guys can see that Presty's legs are just so damn shredded, and he is looking very impressive from every angle. So the judges filtered out 3 guys, and we had 2 confirmation rounds. First for the second call out, and that included guys like Patrick Moore, Muhammad Nassour, Lorenzo, and Enrico Hoffman. So it looks like Patrick is fighting with Muhammad Nassour for that 4th spot. Now I have to say he does look very impressive here, and maybe the judges could have given him a chance in that first call out as well. So now let's talk about that final call out, the confirmation round. So we had Andrea Presti, Luis Breed, and Bruno Santos, with Andrea Presti in the middle at the start of that confirmation round. So the judges made them go 2 rounds, and Bruno Santos was moved in the middle in that second round. Now Bruno does have that size advantage over Andrea Presti, especially in the legs department. But overall, Andrea Presti still carries an equal amount of mass, especially in the upper half, and maybe even more than Bruno. And if we talk about the aesthetics, he is superior than Bruno as well as Luis Breed in every single front shot. Plus, I believe he is showcasing a lot more detail in the legs, especially from the front. And he has more separation and detail in the side shots as well. Now, don't get me wrong, Bruno looked absolutely monstrous. He was so damn massive, and on top of that, massive improved from what we saw from him this past weekend in Italy. And he just made a statement tonight that he has what it takes to win a pro show and get to the Olympia stage. And who knows, the judges might go with him for the win tonight, because he is a more thicker, more denser, and a more muscular bodybuilder. But again, I have to say, if the judging criteria remains the same, and they actually go for aesthetics, then they are probably gonna go with Andrea Presti, because he had better aesthetics, and he was better from the back as well. So he has a solid chance at winning this thing, as well as the Olympia qualification. So Luis Breed really is the odd man out here, and I think he's gonna be in the 3rd spot. He is the polar opposite of Andrea Presti, and also Bruno Santos as well. And for him to win, the judges are gonna have to neglect the aesthetics, the flow, the symmetry, the shape variables altogether, and just go with conditioning and sheer mass. So that's it from the prejudging. What do you guys think? Who do you guys have winning after the prejudging? Whoever it is, I have to say this was one hell of a show, and the judges are gonna have to make a very close call, because from the looks of it, and the way judges did those comparisons, especially in that final call out, it could go either way, depending on what the judges are looking for. But do let me know what you guys think, and also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.